Hey everybody, so today I wanted to come on here and do a video on things that we are leaving in 2019 and not bringing into 2020. Just anything that isn't going to be beneficial to you in progressing in life. This could be ideas, thought processes, just anything you could think of. Not going to be beneficial for you going into this next decade of life. So I have written down a short list of things that I do not feel that we should be bringing into the new decade 2020 with us. So if you want to see what that list has on it, then keep watching. So the first thing on this list is self-loathing. I am sick of self-deprecating behavior. I do not like people kind of making themselves the butt of the joke. People who just are constantly putting themselves down. I feel like in this new year, to get any real work done, you need to start putting yourself first. You need to stop being so down on yourself. You need to realize who the F you are. And to do that, you can't be putting yourself in a position where people are looking at you like, you know, what's her name? She's always talking about herself. Like, she's always like making fun of herself, but like in a really kind of harsh way. And it's like really uncomfortable. I feel like self-deprecating behavior makes people uncomfortable. When you're constantly kind of putting yourself down, especially in front of other people, you're not making other people comfortable being around you. I think you need to learn how to be comfortable with yourself first. And that happens through loving yourself and through, instead of talking down to yourself, talking yourself up. Tell yourself how amazing you are. Tell yourself, like, think positively. Negative thoughts do not get you anywhere. Negative thoughts get negative reactions, okay? I feel like in 2020, I don't want people around me who are constantly self-deprecating. I just don't want to hear it. I don't want to be around it. I'm not putting myself in that space. You know, that's just negativity. That's showing me that you're probably insecure, you're not happy, and you're putting that energy into my space, and I'm not cool with that. So for me, I feel like in 2020 we need to be done with the self-deprecation. In 2020, we are bringing the consistency. I'm not here for the people who lack consistency. I don't want to be around you. You know, I feel like in so many ways, shapes, and forms, consistency gets you so far in life. You know, when it comes to a relationship, when it comes to work, when it comes to almost anything that you want to achieve, consistency is like at the top of the list. It just makes sense that if you want to be successful, you need to be consistent. Successful in relationship, successful in work, successful with friendships, anything, you need to be consistent. It just works like that. So for me, if someone isn't meeting me with the same amount of consistency that I'm bringing to them, then I need to leave them where I found them. I don't need to bring them with me. You can only do so much. It's just like when you meet someone, you know, and you're super excited, you go on one date, it's amazing, and then after that date, they literally act like they can't respond to you in an orderly fashion. Now what you should do is meet them with the same level of interest that they're meeting you with. Same thing with like consistency. We can use consistency in that instance as well. Meet someone with the same level of consistency that they're meeting you with. So if you're not texting me back after we had a really good date and I thought everything was going good, if you're not returning my phone calls, if you're not responding to me a certain way like I'm responding to you, then I need to fall back. And I think we need to do more of that in 2020. We do not need to drag people along with us who aren't actually in it like we are. You get what I'm saying? Like, I'm not gonna force somebody to do something they don't want to do. I'm not going to force somebody to be a better friend. I'm not gonna force somebody to be a better husband. I'm not gonna force somebody to be a better coworker, you know? So what I would like for you guys who feel like this is a hard thing for you to do is just to make little tweaks here and there, you know? Be consistent with showing up on time. I'm someone that if I say I'm going to be somewhere on time, I'm usually there 15 minutes early. When you respect somebody, you're consistent with your time, you're consistent with your actions. You know, if you respect your work, you're consistent with getting there on time. If you respect your friends, you're consistent with being there for them. You know what I mean? And I feel like in 2020, if people aren't going to meet me with the same level of consistency that I bring to them, then I have no reason to go forward with this relationship, you know? No hard feelings. It's just is what it is. So the next thing that I feel like we should be done with as of 2020, as of January 2020, we should be done with being fake nice. Now, some people may think it's good to, you know, give people a, oh my god, hey, how are you? Like, oh my god, I missed you, even though you can't stand that person. I feel like sometimes one of the worst things you can do is lead somebody on to making them think that you like them when you really don't want to be bothered. And that doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't make you a rude person if you know how to do it. You know, I'm not saying you need to look at people up and down and say, ew, don't talk to me. No, not saying that. Don't do that, okay? Because that makes you an a-hole. What I'm saying is that you don't have to fake being nice to somebody that you don't like. When I'm telling you guys this, I'm really talking to myself, because this is something that has been really difficult for me in past years. When I happen to be approached by a guy or something, it's really hard for me to just say, like, listen, sir, you're really nice and I know you mean well, but I am not interested in talking to you at all. Sometimes as women, we get so nervous and shy, we don't feel comfortable doing that. And sometimes it is easier to just, you know, give somebody your number and keep it stepping, because sometimes you get around crazy people who will put your life in harm's way if you don't, you know, act interested. I think you just need to know when to act and trust the feeling that you have around certain people. Sometimes it's really hard for me to, you know, let people know that I don't like them. Or like let people know that I don't have the same feeling for them as they do for me. For instance, I was at the bar a couple weeks ago, and this person came up to me, and I had absolutely no form of attraction for this man, none whatsoever. But I didn't want to be rude, you know? But I feel like a lot of times as women, we can make situations worse when we lead people on, compared to if we were just to say, like, you seem really nice, but I feel like we would probably be better off as friends because I'm just not interested in a relationship. Like, I've already friend-zoned you in my head. Sorry. I for sure need to say more of that in 2020. I don't know about you guys, but like, I feel like I give my number out so much unnecessarily to people who I never, ever, ever respond to. And if I could just be like, hey, unless you're trying to be just friends, like, I don't even think you need my number. Like, you can contact me on Instagram DM, but like, I don't even want to give you my number. I'm sorry, like, I'm not interested in talking to you. Sometimes you just have to say it. And I'm going to work actively at using my own advice in this situation and saying stuff like that. Instead of giving people my number and them having to block them, I feel like it's just better to tell them straight out how you feel, honestly. Because sometimes when you lead people on, especially leading men on, you can cause a lot of issues, and you can actually put yourself in harm's way when you're messing with some crazy people out there. Like, some people really are not mentally all there. Some people really are not mentally all there. So if you lead them on and give them any slight thought that they have a chance, they kind of get obsessed, and we don't need that. We don't need a Joe from like You on Netflix, you know? Like, we don't need to have Joes in our life, you know? So it's better off if you're just straight up. Sometimes, depending on the situation, depending on the person, you have to see, but sometimes it's just a lot better if you can just be like, I'm sorry, I'm just not interested, but we can be friends, but like, I don't want to give you my number, sorry. So the next thing on my list is something that I've noticed people in my life doing that really bugs me, and I wish that they would not bring this into the new year. And it's acting like you're not the cause of your own alienation or even your own failures. In this new year, taking responsibility for your own actions is a must. I'm sick of people acting like the world is against them, because a lot of the times the world isn't against you, you're against you, and you don't even realize it. You are your biggest sabotager sometimes. And I cannot stand when I get around people and they're like, you know, like, this happened to me so many years ago, and this is why I can't do this anymore. This is why I've never been able to, you know, keep a job, or this is why I can't do this because it's just too hard. Stop. Now, I say this because, in my personal opinion, if you ever ask me about myself, I'll tell you, anything that has gone wrong in my life or has been difficult for me has been caused by my own actions. Now, sometimes you might think, oh, that's not true for me. But if you think back on the steps that you took when you're dealing with somebody, when you're dealing with a work situation, when you're dealing with, you know, getting pregnant at a young age, whatever the case is, a lot of times, if you would have just took a few different steps, your situation would be different. And that's for anybody, you know? So for me, I just need people who take, what is it called? What is the word? What is it called? Who take responsibility for their own actions being the issue for their failures or downfalls or whatever. I think in 2020, people need to start taking more responsibility for how their actions have affected them and how they may have affected others. I think we've seen a lot of this happen in 2019, but in 2020, take more responsibility. Not everything is because the world is against you. A lot of the times it's because you didn't have common sense to make better decisions. And I feel like in 2020, you need to make better choices, make better decisions, get better friends, and take responsibility for your actions, because you are in control of you. You are in control of you. No one else is in control of you. You are in control of you. You get to decide what you want to do. You get to decide what you don't want to do. It's as simple as that. So you can't blame anybody else for things not going right for you, but you, okay? I know it may seem like I'm being a little tough, but I'm really into tough love, and I'm really into telling people how it is, and I'm really into just not sugarcoating things, because I feel like if you sugarcoat shit, it's still shit, you know? So take responsibility for your actions in 2020. If something didn't go right for you, if you didn't get an opportunity, if you didn't get this, that, or the other, sometimes, and only sometimes, I'm not even half the time, maybe 10% of the time, it isn't your problem. it wasn't because of your actions. It was because of somebody else why you weren't able to accomplish this goal or whatever. But 9 times out of 10, you need to look at yourself and see what you can change to get a different reaction, you know? I can say a lot of the times people really don't want to take responsibility. People always want to find blame somewhere else. They don't want to take responsibility for actions that they could have changed. And a lot of times it's okay if you can't change what's happened to you in the past, but you need to be able to accept your past and take responsibility for your future. You can't keep looking back and saying, oh, well, this happened to me, so I can't do anything now. No, because I don't believe that. So another type of person, thing, whatever you want to call it, that is being completely stomped on and left in 2019 are the people that you do anything for, but they would not reciprocate it. This is something that my mom has been telling me for ages. She's always telling me, like, Jocelyn, get better friends. My mom, I can just hear her say, like, you need better friends. Because I always have been the type of person where, like, if I consider you my friend, then you kind of become like family to me. And, you know, if that's the case, then I end up going above and beyond for people who would never do the same for me and have proven that they don't do the same for me, but then they expect me to, like, help them out, whether it's financially, whether it's mentally sometimes, because, you know, sometimes I'll get phone calls from people who won't answer the phone for me and really won't give me good advice, but, like, whenever they have an issue, they call on me and kind of, like, mentally draining me for my advice. And that's not okay either. You know, I get friends who, well, I don't have them now, but, like, beginning of university, end of high school, I had friends who didn't have a car, so they'd only hit me up when they wanted to go somewhere, right? But, like, if Jocelyn needed help or I needed a ride or I wanted gas money, they looked at me crazy. And my mom would be like, in the back of my head, like, get better friends, Jocelyn. It just is what it is. They're just sometimes because you want to fit in. And this is something that I wish, like, elementary school Jocelyn, high school Jocelyn, beginning of university Jocelyn would have realized. It took me 24, almost 25 years to realize I don't have to keep being nice to people who don't reciprocate my actions. I don't have to keep doing things for people just because I consider them a friend, going above and beyond for them when they would never, ever do the same for me. And in 2020, we really need to leave those people where we found them. In 2019, leave them in the dust. 2020 is all about protecting your energy. You really need to be mindful of who's helping you and who's hurting you, and what is helping you and what may be hurting you. And really, really look at your friendships, at your relationships, at all aspects of your life, and really analyze what is helping me and what is hurting me, what is draining me and what is giving me energy, and make changes accordingly. So yeah, I hope you guys like this video of what I'm leaving in 2019 and not bringing into 2020 with me. If you want more videos like this, please give me a thumbs up, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.